It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then.
Hello there. This is Maiyegun live from wherever you are watching from. Thank you so much for joining me again this afternoon. Good enough. I've been given a space inside IB studio. So I'm doing this from a remote location. And I decided to quickly drop this by, there's nothing I'm going to say here today that you haven't really heard before now. But because of the action that we just got the report about, the CBN governor coming out to say the reason why they are, freezing the accounts of the NSAS protesters in Nigeria is simply because they are investigating them for terrorism. You know what I mean now? So, investigating them for terrorism in Nigeria, when for 10 years of Boko Haram in Nigeria, instead of the government of Nigeria or the CBN, even the CBN of Nigeria, who runs the banking system in Nigeria, instead of them to come up and say, well, we found the true sponsor, those who are paying the Boko Haram terrorists in Nigeria to continue to kill the innocent people, instead of the CBN to come up and explain what they have done so far to help us cut down the inflow of Boko Haram's sponsorship or funding in Nigeria, they couldn't come up with that. But they are very much active when it comes to going after the people that they profile. And as usual, Nigeria reward bad behavior, same way Nigeria rewarded Buhari after he overthrew the democratically elected government, the first person to do so in Nigeria and the only person to do so in Nigeria, the only person who actually overthrew a democratically elected government. He got rewarded. And today, the same criminal is now an anti-democratic, person in that country, and it's proved that repeatedly. He's done that so well. But Emefiele, I guess something to share with you today. Maybe I have something to remind you of today about Emefiele. Remember, I said the government that you have in Nigeria, led by Boko Haram, the APC, who told you at the time that they were coming to end terrorism, to end insecurity, and at the same time, possibly to end poverty. But they have now escalated that. And as we have them today, innocent people, everyone who stands up to ask questions about how Boko Haram and his gang are dealing with the situation in Nigeria, everyone who stands up is considered a terrorist by Boko Haram and his gang. CBN governor Emefiele, the man that survived the Buhari's anti-corruption, anti-corruption machinery, as he put it at the time, that they were coming to fight corruption, and therefore they needed to clean the system. Emefiele survived. The same Emefiele that supervised the looting, the stealing, and the mismanagement that Boko Haram accused PDP of. Sometimes they say when a criminal, when a criminal stays too long, it can actually call the owner a thief. Emefiele, when Boko Haram was sweeping those he called thieves away from the government, he kept Emefiele, the same Emefiele who supervised the sharing of the same money they accused Dasuki of stealing. The same Emefiele stayed back to complete the actual job for Boko Haram. So for 5 solid years, Emefiele, the CBN of Nigeria, couldn't give us a name of one sponsor of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Dubai seems to be doing a better job. Dubai could trace Nigerians, including the federal government staff, someone who the Nigerian government knows very well is a sponsor of Boko Haram. They were sending money from Dubai, mobilizing money, and then doing money laundering, using the banking system in Nigeria to mobilize funds for Boko Haram in Nigeria. Emefiele, Godwin Emefiele, the willing tool in the hand of the terrorists, APC terrorists in Nigeria. And let's break it down, because I would rather go through the memory lane with you this afternoon, so that you will get to catch up with why you will know that APC is Boko Haram. Boko Haram is APC. For 5 years when they came, remember the charade, remember the drama, remember all the deceit and manipulative news that they shared with you at the time when they picked up Dasuki for stealing $2.2 billion meant for the purchase of equipment for Boko Haram. Remember the story. The man, what they didn't tell you then, by the way, was that the man who actually housed the money, gave the money, the clearance and every other thing to Dasuki was the same who? Godwin Emefiele. The man that was in charge of the military, the weaponry, we call them the itinerary officers and the itinerary chief, so to say, in the Nigerian army, the man that was in charge of the weapons, who bought, what weapon they buy, when, and from where, and which weapon they've taken out of the armory, and on like that. The person that is saddled with the responsibility of sharing that is no other person than Buratai, the butcher, the same chief of army staff. So when they arrested Dasuki, they promoted Buratai. When they arrested when they arrested Fayoshe, arrested those that collected money from Dasuki, they promoted and kept Emefiele, the guy that was there to help them patch and perfect all their spending on terrorism in Nigeria. I am putting this out to you, that when you are looking for where the Boko Haram bank their money, don't look further. Just call Emefiele. He is the man who is in charge of distributing money, fund, to sponsor and support terrorism in Nigeria. He's been doing it, and I have proof, and I will give you more today if you are willing to take it up. The government of Nigeria, and with the collaboration of CBN of Nigeria, led by Emefiele, they had the opportunity of telling us how terrorists are being funded in Nigeria because they use the Nigerian banking system. They will deny you that, but the rest of the world knows that the people in government who uses their own official, official privilege or privileges to maneuver the system, beat the system, get money from the system, the money they will then divert into sponsoring terrorism in that country. The CBN governor can trace some illicit funds into the account of no other people, but politically exposed people alone. When you start picking on different politicians in Nigeria, especially those ones from the northern part of Nigeria, and you have access, you try and trace the access they have to cash and money that CBN only knows about, monies that you and I will never be able to actually raise a red flag or anything. The banks allow this money to move because of the individuals involved. So the CBN governor came out after trying to bribe the NSAS protesters. The CBN governor came out and said, well, they have frozen the account of the known NSAS protesters in Nigeria. Okay, the same CBN that cannot freeze the account of especially the account they paid the 13.5 million euros to at the time. They couldn't bring that up. They couldn't defend that. They are even denying that. A lot of illicit funds. You have heard about politicians who have been accused of, he stole 10 billion, he stole 100 billion, he stole 500 billion. All this money are left in the system until the media raise alarm, until evidences and other counter accusations comes up. CBN of Nigeria will remain mute, dumb, deaf, and blind to all those illicit funds moving about within the system, Abi. But they decided to go after 20 young people who were asking the government to stop terrorism, to stop police brutality, to stop bad governance, to stop irresponsible governance in that country, and ask their leaders and their governments to do the right thing. Most importantly, what they promised and pledged to do when they were seeking power. So these young people were now targeted, profiled by no other but your CBN, because your CBN is now fighting terrorism. Can you beat that? There was no report upon them. There was no investigation on these individuals until when they denied Emefiele, Dangote, Jimovia, and so many of them who tried to bribe them, remember? Who tried to dissuade them from their continued protest at the time. So when they couldn't do that, they decided to label them terrorists. They did the same thing to the IPOB, remember? They did the same thing to the Shiites in Abuja, remember? They do that to everybody that they disagree with. Once they cannot buy you, once they cannot suppress you or oppress you, or once they cannot possibly kill you directly, they need something to hang you, and they can easily tag you a terrorist. They did the same thing to the revolutionary protesters too, remember? They told the whole world that the revolutionary hashtag was in fact a treasonable hashtag, whereby when you are seen to have shared anything that has to do with revolution now, you are considered a terrorist. And they continue to try to drive that narrative across their media, across different platforms they control. They are doing all of this because it is a game, it is a mind game. A game to control your mind and control what you think, how you think, and when you think, and what you think about as well. And CBN of Nigeria has joined the fray. They've joined the fray. They've joined the fray in a way that, one sec.
Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùnra kì í.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm having that little, just little something there to fix. So it's great. So your CBN is now into investigating terrorism. And they did this illegality, by the way. They did this illegality after they've frozen those accounts. They did that when they tried to bribe them, they called a meeting. They brought in Dangote. They brought in Emefiele. The same Emefiele that stole over 500 billion naira. They said he miscalculated the account. He audited the account and on like that. No, that wasn't what happened. It was part of the fleece. The same Emefiele that was doing round tripping with CBN. The same Emefiele that was selling, while genuine businessmen and women in Nigeria, while they were struggling to have access to dollars, to have access to forex, to promote their businesses, yeah? The same Emefiele that was prosecuting and implementing round tripping for all these criminals in the north, these Janjaweed criminals, the APC, led by the lifeless, breedless, breeding mannequin called Boko Haram, the same Emefiele who has ruined the economy of Nigeria completely, the same Emefiele who has supervised and secured the complete death of Nigeria and Nigerians under this Janjaweed government. The same Emefiele came out to tell you that he is now a terrorist investigator. CBN, after 2 weeks of freezing the account of innocent people, right? The same Emefiele came out 2 weeks later when they found another tanko technicality somewhere who could probably give them the order they were looking for, the order to freeze an account without any evidence. I wish Nigeria has a democracy. I really do wish that Nigerians know that they've lost their country. Meanwhile, you never had one, by the way, okay? You never had a country. The mirage, the lies they have been telling you, they are just coming to light now that that we have a social media, a tool that cannot be implemented, that cannot be manipulated the way they've manipulated your conventional medias in Nigeria. So, Emefiele, the terrorist fighter, the terrorist investigator, is not going after those who are shooting and killing soldiers. Emefiele and their DSS, the Daura Secret Service, they are not going after those idiots who are kidnapping the bandits for 5 years, rather than them to stop the inflow, the free flow of money to terrorists, to stop them and reduce the act of terrorism in Nigeria, to save lives of the innocent people that are now living in IDP, that are now dead, and including those who are now living in IDP camp. Nigerians were turned into refugees in their own country. In 5 years, it became like quadrupled. More people are killed. More people are living in IDP camp. More people are starving and dying of poverty under this crook, Emefiele, that destroyed Nigeria economy with the help of his own Janjaweed, as they call them, the Janjaweed criminals who are dictating to him. Emefiele is here to help us stop terrorism by going after young people who are demanding for a better country. Emefiele. So when the old dust finally settles, when this old madness finally settles, Emefiele will be standing trial as one of those who contributed to the mass killings of Nigerians. He contributed to it. And when they tell you that who are the sponsors of Boko Haram, do not look further. Yes, you have them. The government of Nigeria, led by Boko Haram and the cartel around him. The CBN of Nigeria is their vault. CBN of Nigeria is their bank. So when you look for those sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria, do not look further. Your government is the one that is drafting the policies and the programs of how to finance terrorism. The bank that finances them is the CBN, led by Emefiele. All the stolen money, all the mismanaged money, all the printed money that were printed without any approval, other than just to print money for the criminals that have taken over your country. All of that are instruments of sponsorship of terrorism. And if you ask yourself, why has it been so difficult to end terrorism in Nigeria, or at least to find those who are sponsoring terrorism, then you realize that it's not hard. It's not a hard thing to crack. The former NSA, Dasuki, is accused of withholding the money meant for the purchase of equipment to fight terrorism. When Boko Haram arrested him, he kept him in a house arrest, while the rest of those arrested with him were sent to jail. Dasuki was kept in a house arrest for years, to the point that He even had a child just a few months after coming out of prison. Because he was never in prison. The money they told you he stole, they've shared that. While they kept him there, they were busy doing the same thing. In 5 years, Nigeria CBN, in collaboration with all their partners, they have spent over 4 trillion naira, 4.5 trillion naira in fighting against terrorism in Nigeria. Think about that. Same way they have spent over $30 billion in the past 21 years on electricity in Nigeria, on power. And the only thing they could generate for you is darkness. It's the same thing with the Boko Haram fight. CBN, where Emefiele, old sway, yeah? CBN of Nigeria supervised Nigeria spending over 4 trillion naira in fighting Boko Haram. Do you know what they've got with that money they spent? They've only managed to split Boko Haram into different branches, including Maiyegun, which is their mouthpiece, the media organ of Boko Haram. They shared Boko Haram, divide Boko Haram into ISWAP. So as Boko Haram, they take a home to ISWAP, they collect their own tax. Now, they have also created Fulani terrorists, which they told you back then, remember? They told you these guys were from Sahel, they were from Mali, they were from Chad, they are from Niger, they are from Libya. Only for Pastor Ruga, Ikene Shatabandu, fake Pastor Oshimbade, to come out and tell you that, we needed to give them a rural grazing area, give them land, including Femi Okonu Adesina. Femi Okonu Adesina came out and said, listen, your life or your land. So they compensated terrorists. They divided them into numbers so that they can all get their share from their newly conquered country, Nigeria. The lies they told you. So CBN of Emefiele, they didn't do anything with the money they got. Buratai the butcher is busy mobilizing the military, all the military soldiers he can find anywhere, trying to send them to where? Send them to the civilian area. Peaceful areas where peaceful protesters are demanding for government to do the right thing. They are not sending their soldiers to the terrorists. They are sending their soldiers to those people who are holding flags, those who are holding placards, those who are holding their phones, their camera phones. Think about that. For 5 years, they spent nearly 5 trillion naira. 5 trillion naira to fight Boko Haram, to fight insecurity, to buy weapons for the military, to give the soldiers better life, they said. But you know the truth. The money ended up in the pocket of the criminals who have been parading themselves as the solution. Now, they can easily criminalize private citizens, criminalize them, make the world see them as the people that are real problems, and make those illiterates. You know, they've destroyed education, by the way. That was not a mistake. It was done on purpose. You see, some of you are still battling with ASU strike, Abi. That is why you will see someone who is pretending to be educated. I'm talking about those ombud slaves, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons, or even their own, cousins, their distant cousins on social media. Those ones we call the social media bandits or Facebook adsmen, right? That is why it's so easy for the likes of Laya Muhammad, the likes of Buratai the butcher, the likes of all these criminals to be able to speak to them and their audience listen to them. You know why? Education is destroyed and it was done on purpose. That is why you are not able to ask the right question. CBN that supervised the spending of nearly 5 trillion naira in the battle against Boko Haram, they have not been able to come up with one condemned, convicted terrorist in the past 5 years. But the same CBN is housing the cash that Shadia, girlfriend of Boko Haram, your minister of disaster, mismanagement and poverty, generational poverty, Shadia Farouk. It is the same CBN that is housing the money that Shadia will be using to pay repentant terrorists. Did you know that? The repentant terrorists in Nigeria get paid after rehabilitation. Who pays them? Who houses the money? Where is the bank? Where is the account domiciled? It is domiciled in CBN. When you see, and the reason why you are not asking those questions is because they have succeeded so far so good in winning the army of illiterates army of uneducated, poorly educated, or miseducated generation. Some of them are here, some of them are abroad, some of them are at home. And we have the categorization for them. When you look at those Buhari things, Buhari didn't back home. The Buhari Denotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shukus, the Ungos Diaris, the Unne Kaharis, the Nenan Diaris. Then you look at their premium uncles and aunties abroad, the Bele lecturers, the Mumu lecturers, the Mumu Madus. And you listen to them, you ask them that, is it so tough to ask that those who spent nearly 5 trillion, the CBN that supervised and paid up to 5 trillion naira in buying weapons to fight terrorism, is it too much to ask that if they have been unable to end terrorism, but they have created more terrorism? Fulani terrorists are everywhere, ransacking villages, killing people, sending them to IDP camps. The bandits, they've taken over the major highways in the north. As we speak, people are being kidnapped. Even in Katsina, just recently, Katsina state, where Boko Haram comes from, Boko Haram state, the bandits have ransacked the entire state, ruined the entire state. The governor of the state even tried at some point to pay almost 500 million naira to bandits so that they will not kidnap people again. They will stop all the, all they are doing. There is no negotiation with them. There is no declaring them as terrorists right now. They even kidnapped over 25 young girls. Just last week, they kidnapped over 25 young girls. The Daura Secret Service, DSS, they are unable to detect that until it happened. Even they couldn't rescue them until the parents of those children paid 6.6 million naira to the bandits who kidnapped their children. Now, when they released them, guess who decided to go and do photo op? Your government. The Janjaweed APC government. They decided to go and do photo op, took pictures with them that the children have been released, but they refused to tell you that the parent of the children paid how much? They paid over 6 million naira to free their children from the hands of bandits. As I speak to you right now, hundreds, if not thousands, of northerners are in the hands of Boko Haram, in the hands of the ISWAP, in the hands of the bandits, and in the hands of Buhari's brothers and sisters from Libya. This is what is going on in your country. Terrorists are being compensated. Activists are being hunted down. And they want that to look normal. And when you listen to these criminals who support and defend them, or these illiterates who defend them at most, and you ask yourself, is it too much to ask your government to stop those killings? As I am right now, Maiyegun, is considered enemy of Nigeria according to the terrorists in Nigeria in charge of government. Now, let me tell you what has happened, in case if you have no clue yet. If you are looking for those sponsoring terrorism, don't look further. It is your government. And the way to find out is this. You will realize that in Nigeria today, right, you asking the government to stop terrorists from killing young people or killing people in Nigeria, you is a threat to government. But if you are holding a gun right now, or maybe you've managed to wreak havoc in different parts of the country, it is easier for you to get amnesty. Soldiers will not shoot at you and kill you, especially if the order from above says, esprit de corps, esprit de corps. You are our Pekin. We are all together, right? Except if they say you are not theirs. That is when their soldiers will come and shoot you, and they will say they've killed a terrorist. But you know that the real terrorists are getting paid cash. They are getting paid, given so much coverage by the same people who are now going after arresting young people all over the country, especially the southern part of Nigeria. The reason why I'm actually really angry right now is this, that we see our people who claim to be educated and they watch this barbarity go on. You watch criminals who presented themselves as honorable men and women, criminals who are actually like marketing and trading away lives of young people. Your bank is compromised. Your government has been hijacked, completely taken over by terrorists that have nothing, absolutely nothing in common with you. Whether you are an Hausa or a Yoruba or an Igbo man, whether you are living in the north, a Middle Belton, an Ijo man, a Juku man, listen, they are listening very good, okay? That you are an APC member or a PDP member, a Christian or a Muslim, or you belong to any of those caucuses they put together, you are just a waiting sacrificial lamb. They will sacrifice you like they have been sacrificing everyone that they could since. Because the only thing that can stop them is when you take power away from them. As long as they control power, the leverage of power, you will all be or remain the pawn on their chess table. It will remain so. And you will continue to ask yourselves, who are those sponsoring terrorists? Why can't we end the Boko Haram? How can you end something that you are funding? How can you end something that is working in a way in your favor? You are killing people. CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, Emefiele, you are supervising the killing of young people, young and old. You are supervising the killing of the lives of the young and the old in that country. Economic war that you declared on Nigerians. The economic war has wreaked enough havoc. More people are now poorer in Nigeria. Why the jihadi criminals are shooting at people, kidnapping and beheading people, Emefiele, Godwin Emefiele of CBN of Nigeria is collaborating with the elite in Nigeria, doing what they are doing overwork, like they are working overtime to ensure that poverty, as it is, economic strangulation of the young and the old in that country will never cease. And you know why? You know what they do. Dangote, the same Aliko Dangote, that enjoys all manner of subsidy. You can think about all manner of subsidy, dollar subsidy, pound subsidy, fuel subsidy, tax subsidy, importation subsidy, exportation subsidy, some level of preferences here and there. They worked and they did so well, with Emefiele, so far so good, to bring about the calamity, the dwindling, the strangulating economy that many of you have suffered from, and you are still going to suffer more. By the way, it is just like when your suffering is doing press up. It's like when they say your suffering is actually on its journey down to your address and it's just there in the shower. It's not even yet in the car, and whatever they have done to you right now is simply a warm-up to what they are still going to do. And that is why social media law, social media bill becomes prevalent for them. They needed something. They needed a tool to shut you up forever when the Armageddon begins to come and unravel in Nigeria. Emefiele is dangerous to Nigeria. Emefiele is dangerous to you as you call yourself a Nigerian. Emefiele is dangerous to humanity, and you should know that. They brought about round tripping that killed hundreds of thousands of businesses. People lost their jobs. Guys, when they came in, it was only 13 million Nigerians officially. They said they had no job, even though some of you are working like you had job when you didn't have any, by the way. But however, even with that, your tiny job you had in 2015, you could still probably give your family a treat at Christmas, because then a bag of rice was just 7,500 naira. Remember, until when they came, and when they came, you know what it is today. With your 7,000 or with your 20,000 naira minimum wage, you know what you can get. They turned many of you to beggars. They turned you to social media alimajiris. They turned you to Facebook alimajiris, begging to survive. You didn't think about that. You didn't think about the war, the economy war they unleashed on you. People's businesses were destroyed. People's livelihoods were destroyed. People's lives were destroyed. Remember when people were jumping down the Third Mainland Bridge because of the economic strangulation unleashed on them by the CBN, by the Nigerian custom? Ask those who are businessmen in Nigeria who are now, God bless their souls, who are now more or less paupers because Buhari came to power. They even blamed them for that problem. They said, oh, well, you are poor because you had no access to free money anymore. Oh, it's because you are PDP. People who have never joined politics, people who have been doing their legit businesses here and there before these Janjaweed criminals came to power. They took everything away from you, right? Small boys and girls from Daura, small boys and girls from their, terror-infested north. They started, they made them up, by the way. Can you believe that? The round tripping of Emefiele from May 29, 2015 killed Nigeria. But they told you that it was the looting that killed Nigeria. What did they do? Right? People from Daura and people who are loyal to Buhari, the lifeless bleeding mannequin from Daura, they came back and they said, yeah, I submitted Form E4, Form C4 in 1984 when dollar was just 70 kobo to $1. Oh, I submitted a Form C4, see this blah, blah, blah nonsense to exchange money in 1986 when dollar was just, to $1, when naira was just 7 naira to $1. Guess what? When they killed the economy and they made an average businessman or woman, remember Nigeria economy relies more on importation. Even though if they lie to you that they are doing one economy rejuvenation and blah, blah nonsense, they are not doing anything, by the way, right? So they told you that in 2000, those who are actually doing businesses, importing into Nigeria, you know what they did to them? Their dollar jumped, naira jumped from 195 naira. I won't forget that. I know that Stockholm syndrome is real, and I know that some of you are quick, you are suffering from what is called selective amnesia. Okay, you deliberately chose to be dumb and stupid, and I understand. I respect you for that, because when I see, like I do tell people, the people I fear most are the foolish people. They say fear foolish people in large numbers. When you see foolish people in large numbers and you are not afraid of them, do you know they can elect a president and there's nothing you can do about it? And this is why I said I respect your foolishness and I respect your stupidity. But you know what they did? They moved naira from 190 naira, 190 to 195 naira. It jumped back then to 360 naira to $1. And at some point, so many businessmen had to buy their own. Even at that, it wasn't even available. So they had to buy their own dollar exchange then to process their own importation and all of that at the rate of 500 naira to $1. Imagine when you place order in January 2015, and then election happened in your country, and before you know it, a Boko Haram became president. And when Boko Haram became president, the Janjaweed took over everywhere, and all of a sudden, Nigeria happened to you. May Nigeria never happen to me in my life again. In my life, that would be the worst thing to happen to anybody who has any humanity. May Nigeria never happen to those of you who love Maiyegun. There are people that Nigeria happened to. They weren't expecting it, but it happened. What happened? Their businesses, some of them even abandoned the businesses abroad. Because what are you going to do? The amount you paid for this particular importation has tripled. Now, if you have to pay to import it again, you know that you are gone. You are gone for good. Banks were running away from businesses and businessmen to the point that banks in Nigeria were begging private individuals for dollars because they could get it from CBN and Emefiele CBN. You, the new business owner, you are struggling, looking for black market. They say, Baba, call me when do you get dollar. Baba, have you heard anything? Businessmen, no. People who are dealing with millions of dollars of businesses, they became beggars. They were now going and some of them were changing their names to Abdullahi. Some of them suddenly became sudden overnight Muslims. They started wearing Babariga because they needed someone to parley with, or else your business would die. Many businesses died. Many people never recovered. They will never recover. Those of you who have weathered the storm for a while, your own is coming. Wait for it. They needed a law so that when your own come and they take your business away, they take your life away or take everything around you away. When you want to protest and fight that, they needed something to say you are mad. Who told you to protest? Oh, you're shooting for leg. Shoot the left leg. If they say shoot the second leg, he's still complaining. It's coming to you. It's a matter of time, and it is gradual. And if you have seen the calamity they have caused, the damages they have done, you will realize that these things doesn't recognize you, whether you are, what do you call it? This thing doesn't recognize you in any way, whether you are a PDP, whether you are a APC, whether you are a Muslim, or you are a Christian, or you don't even get any religion like Maiyegun. If they grab you, they won't ask you. If na bandit hold you, they won't ask you whether you are Hausa or Igbo or you are anything. If the project is about someone to cut his head, when they grab you, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you like, speak Fufude. If you like, speak Hausa. If you like, speak Arab. If you like, speak in tongue in Arabic. They will still cut your head if the project is to cut your head. But if the project is just to shoot you from behind, they will still do it. And that is where reality should be setting in for everybody who might want to stand up at any point in time to say, well, Maiyegun, it's not that bad. Don't blame that one. Don't blame this one. Do you know the only people you shouldn't be blamed, and the only people that should or should not be blamed? They are those who are dead already. Your brothers are piling, I mean, they are teaming up with these criminals to take away whatever belongs to you, and they will do it so smoothly, even with your own, with or without your support. But maybe we shouldn't even give the support in the first place. That's what you should be taking away, because they will tell you, with or without your support, they will do what they will do, as they've always done. So where do you come in? Where do we come in? You and myself. Where do we come in all of this? We should appreciate all, at least we should appreciate those who are standing up, not for themselves, but who still have the opportunity to speak up and say, listen, guys, no matter what the propaganda is, no matter how much war they wage on this social media to try to silence us, this is the only weapon. This is the only platform that genuinely give it to you undiluted. And the likes of Emefiele, they are doing everything. The likes of Emefiele, the likes of Dangote, the likes of Ovia, Jimovia, the likes of all this Elumelu and co. Their job is to ensure that we all remain in that servitude. Nigeria, breaking up of Nigeria or not, these are the elements, these are the establishment, these are the criminals that will make it difficult for you to do that. And because they control everything, they can use it as they wish. That is where you come in. Should you, by any means, continue to fall for the lies that they exhume all the time? Do you really think it is ideal to continue to find excuses for them? For example, well, what do you want him to do? He needs to do whatever he's told to do. Really? He needs to do what he's told to do because he can get away with it, Abi. They destroyed Nigeria economy. They destroyed people's lives. They have stolen more than you can ever account for. And even upon that, they have stolen your right to question them. Who does that? Why should you be comfortable with that? I won't be. Now, people are put under what is called no-fly list. Accounts are being frozen. Many other people are being arrested. Arrested simply because the system feels like they are using what is called, they are using what is called the freedom that is not regulated. So they need to regulate it. Not because they have anything to add to all the conversation, right? So they won't want me to say this to you directly. So when they say, who are those sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria? Take my word for it. Yes, take my word for it. I have given you instances. If CBN can investigate bank accounts for terrorism, NSAS protest, and NSAS protesters who were transferring 5,000, 2,000, 1,000 to people to be able to have a data to use on social media, CBN is investigating accounts with how much? With 10,000, 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira of 20 people. Put all of the money in those accounts together, all of them, put them together. They will not be up to 10 million naira. That is what CBN says is investigating again. Is investigating for terrorism. How long do you think this madness is going to last? How long? I'm going to tell you this. It's not going to last for too long. The longer it lasts depends on how much you can endure. People are going to be more people are going to be arrested anyway. The same CBN will ensure that those who are going to raise eyebrows are well paid. Those who are supposed to speak up against insecurity in the north, can you see them? Can you see how they are kind of all together blaming the NSAS protest? We are just waiting now for them to blame NSAS protest for Boko Haram, because they will do that too. They are already blaming social media for insecurity. Incompetent criminals, they are. So when they ask you, who are the sponsors? Sorry about that. I think you should check the audio from your own end. Babati. Thank you very much. So the audio is fine from this end. I'll say you should do that from your own end. By the way, one sec. Anyway, so when they say who are the sponsors, just don't stop fretting. Stop, you know what I mean? Stop looking elsewhere. It is your government. And as we have it, yeah, you can say confidently that the CBN of Nigeria is their bank. When they need money, when they want ransom money, when they want any payment at all, under different, these guys and what have you, the CBN will get that. Because your CBN that is now investigating terrorism says the NSAS protesters are being investigated for terrorism. A joke, right? But I'm going to say this. Do not look further. If they ask you, who are those sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria? Who are those funding terrorism in Nigeria? Just be rest assured that it is your government, and CBN of Nigeria is their bank. The Nigerian army, who has been given over 4 trillion naira to combat terrorism, to end bandits and the rest of them, they have been unable to end terrorism in Nigeria or in the northern part of the country, but they have managed to create more armed terrorists in the north. They are not sending their soldiers after them. They are sending soldiers after Biafrans, after IPOB, after NSAS, peaceful protesters. They are sending them after bloggers. They are sending them after social media or influencers, as they call them. What does that tell you? Terrorists are roaming free. They are getting pardoned. They are getting rewarded and compensated by your government. They are getting rehabilitated into the system, despite the monumental, crime they've committed. They are enjoying all that privileges, while those asking government to end the insecurity are being tried for a crime they didn't commit. I'm going to see you later tonight, if you can catch up. And that will be later on Ad Talk with Maiyegun tonight. If you have a chance of tuning in, please do. Until then, stay safe and stay away from Nigeria if you can. It's an advice, not for everybody. If you can, please stay away in your own interest. See you some other time.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Maiyegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Maiyegun ti dé. Òkúra olóṣèlú. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. súnragì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnragì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnragì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnragì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo.
1,000